not 25 anymore. And the hormones are different. I've really realized that in order for me to get results, it's not about getting as much cardio and burning as much calories as I can. There's so much more involved. So I really had to kind of take a step back and be like, what works for me now, and kind of come to terms with that.
Welcome to Healthier Me, a show that highlights the health journey of everyday individuals in Saginaw who have chosen to take the steps to be well. Katy Greene joins us in the studio today and share what it means to prioritize your health. As a wife and mom of 3 beautiful boys, Katy went from surviving some challenging moments to inspiring mothers in their health and wellness journey. Thank you so much, Katy, for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are you today?
Good, very good.
That's good. I'm so excited to talk about your story. When I kind of read about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's such a, I want to say a bad word, but I'm not going to say it, but I was like, she's such a bad A, you know? I just love how active you are. And just looking at some of your photos and everything, I was like, there's no excuse why I can't be in the gym right now. I woke up and I was like, I'll just do some yoga, I'll do some movement today. But I just really like how active you are in your journey. Thank you. I have a question. What's your earliest memory that kind of explains who you are, explains Katy?
Oh, who I am. Probably my earliest memory would be probably around family. I have 2 older brothers, and then I have 2 adopted siblings that are younger than me. And we grew up just like sitting around the table, asking questions. How was your day? Just that very like traditional family. So I think that describes me as just like family and that support in that community of family.
So you're right in the middle.
I am.
Too. How was that?
Well, up until I was in my 20s, I was the baby. So my younger siblings are, currently they're 18 and 13. So they're much younger than me. So it was kind of almost like I was very much a role model towards them. So yeah, it's very weird to be in the middle halfway through my life.
Yeah. So you're the baby and then the middle.
That
but
I
you
became
had 2 older brothers. So I'm sure they protected you a lot.
They did. We did a lot of, my older brother is probably 8 years older than me, and then my younger brother is 2 years older. Okay. So they did a very good job of, I'll say, whipping me into shape. But they're very protective. Jokingly very protective. Yeah.
So what do you mean by whipping you into shape? Were they like working out? Were they very active?
They were active, but we would wrestle. I was very much a tomboy because I didn't have the sister to play Barbies with. So they would play more boy-esque things. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So in interviews, I'm learning that there's this huge CrossFit community, and I noticed that was also with you.
Yeah.
So what sparked your interest in joining such a high-intensity workout regimen?
Sure. Well, in high school and in college, I played sports. So after graduating, I was kind of in this, what do I do now? Because I don't have something where I'm required to go somewhere every day and someone to tell me what to do. So I had a friend who was in the CrossFit community, and so when I moved back from school back home to the Saginaw area, I joined CrossFit with my sister-in-law, and I just really enjoyed the competitiveness of it. So like you're competing in class. We would do outside competitions individually or with partners and teams. Wow. And then there's a community. So we would go and hang out on the weekends, and we might go bowling or just hang out, have a fire at somebody's house. So there was just a sense of like belonging, but yet I still was able to have that competitive nature or environment.
So let's take a look at this photo of you squatting.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
That was my pre-mom life. So I was doing a competition. Actually, my brother was at this one, and he was my partner for it. I got him involved in the CrossFit community probably 8 months after starting. And yeah, I definitely don't move weight like that anymore. But it was just, again, that competition of
Have to
competing.
win.
And yeah. And I think this one is down in Flint. We went down to Flint to compete.
Nice.
So yeah.
I was like, wow, that's. I do not like squatting at all. I like leg workouts, but I don't like squatting, which is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what type of sports did you play in college and high school?
Yeah, in high school, I was basketball, volleyball, and softball. Okay. And then I went on to college, and I played volleyball for a couple of years, just at a junior college locally. And then once I was done with that, I transferred to a university, and I was more active, like club sports, really kind of dying off in the competitive world.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay. So it kind of went from high school. And that's what I also wanted to know, too. I was like, how did she just get into CrossFit? Like, was there this active part of you early on in life? So it sounds like it was.
Yes. I even growing up young, my dad was my coach for soccer and softball.
Oh.
And then going on to high school, I still played. So it's kind of always been on some sort of team level.
That's pretty awesome. What about your mom? Like, was she involved in sports as well?
My mom was the loudest fan in the in the gym or in the bleachers. So I always could hear mom when she was there for sure. So she was definitely involved and supportive of that for sure. Yeah.
That's exciting. And that's good. It sounds very family oriented. And then I think you also maybe found that in the CrossFit community as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just a sense of like belonging and I don't know, like support and just that community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So your life really revolved around the gym in those earlier years, all the recommended eating. And then you found yourself being pregnant with twin boys in December, which is a great Christmas gift. That is so awesome.
Oh, exactly.
But you experienced some challenges in that pregnancy. So talk about that.
Yeah. So I was, after I married my husband, he kind of joined the CrossFit community with me. When we got pregnant in December, or I got pregnant in December, and we found out we were having twins, with a twin pregnancy is always high risk.
Okay.
So I kind of had to really listen to my body of, I'm probably not going to lift weights like we just saw. And I just need to make sure I'm really listening and not causing myself to go into preterm labor or anything of that nature to where I'm going to put myself or the babies at risk.
Yeah. So how was that though? Because I'm sure, I mean, you being active almost your entire life and then having to kind of scale back.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was definitely challenging. My husband would work out with me, and there was times where he had to be like, are you sure that's a good idea? Or eventually my mom, who loves kids, super excited to have grandbabies. She's like, are you really sure you should be doing this CrossFit thing? And she would want me to come and walk with her at the gym, which she like wouldn't walk normally. So I'm like, well, okay, now I need to go and like support her and walk with her. And that kind of gave us a bonding time. So I really toned down. And there's still parts of me even now that I'm like, oh, I would love to go back to that.
Yeah.
But it's not in my best interest for recovery and being able to function the next day, for sure.
So when you're working out and you have to scale back, how does that feel? Because it sounds like you are also very competitive. So do you feel like you're like competing against yourself a little bit?
To an extent, but then I would have people who I'm normally, we have in CrossFit community have a leaderboard who I'm normally competing with, and I'm like, one day I'm beating them, the next day they're beating me, and now I'm like, well, I guess you're just gonna always win because now I'm really scaled back. I still remember my first time after I found out I was pregnant and I needed to really scale back. I went to the gym and I picked up a training bar and tried to put weights on it before anybody saw. And one of my really good friends is like, why do you have a light bar? And she's like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not telling anybody yet. So it was very obvious to her. So everybody knew, and I'm like, oh, yep, definitely pregnant. And it was definitely a big learning curve for sure.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about the fact of like, they always say, like, don't be in competition with other people in life. I'm only competing against myself. And so I'm thinking, like, is that a thing that you have for yourself? Like, I gotta win, or I just have to do it, or.
Yeah, I mean, in that atmosphere, in that sense, I have that competitive nature. And I think as I've grown and become a mom, I've kind of really not lost the competitive nature, because it's definitely in there.
Yeah.
But it's just not like a priority for me anymore, I think. Or maybe it's what I'm competing in is different.
Okay.
Or now maybe I am competing with myself.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you're like super mom. That's what I think. But okay, so now you have your babies. You have your twin boys, and your husband decides to gift you with a Peloton bike.
Yes.
So how was that? How was that experience to now come from CrossFit to now Peloton?
Yeah. So we went to Peloton, and I really enjoyed it because, again, there's a leaderboard.
Okay.
So you can kind of compete with people who are working out at the same time or worked out previously, and you can kind of see where you rank. So it was definitely just a push to like improve. So when I got that a year after I had the boys, and I would get up in the morning, I would run downstairs, do a quick 30-minute workout on the Peloton, and then go upstairs and get the boys ready and me ready and all the things for the day. So it was nice to get it done in the morning, though, so then I could have the rest of the day in the evening to kind of relax, or, bedtime routines and whatnot.
And then in a 3-year span, you have another baby.
Yes. So 3 years later, we had our third boy.
Yes.
And again, just a crazy shift in priorities and goals, and how are we going to make this work to where we can still be active. And we would, I'd give him 30 minutes, like 30 minutes, go. Like, you don't have time to sit here and find a workout, get it done. And then I would get 30 minutes, or if by chance all three kids are sleeping at the same time, like we might be able to get a quick workout in together. But that doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure. It's busy household.
Yeah, we just kind of, whenever we had the opportunity, typically after work, we would go work out.
So, I mean, there was a lot of hormones that were going on in your body as well, though. Like, I don't even know if you got rid of the first set of hormones yet. So how was that? Did you ever go through postpartum? Did you experience any type of depression after having your babies?
So our twins, there was so much hormones, and I was breastfeeding, so we had those hormones. And there was a point where I was like, I can completely understand how people have postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And I was never diagnosed. I never felt like I was there, but I was like, I can understand how this can be too much, because we would have sleepless nights, or we would take shifts. Like, okay, you go get whatever you can get, and then I'll wake you up when I need to switch off. And we would just, whenever you can sleep, you sleep. And in that first 3 months of our boys coming home, our oldest got meningitis. So he was at U of M for 3 weeks. So like the stress and the hormones of being at U of M with one who's really, really sick. And I didn't know the extent of him being sick until I knew he was really sick. But I work with some physicians, and they're like, Katy, he was sick, like 12 hours, and it made a big difference. And so then I have another baby at home who's three months old. So it was just, that was a crazy time. And then, so you no more than get done with trying to breastfeed with twins, and you start to feel like, oh, I'm starting to get back into my, things are evening out. I'm starting to get back into it. And then all of a sudden, I'm pregnant again. And totally different experience of pregnancy, totally different experience. I mean, from the pregnancy to the delivery to the breastfeeding journey, like complete 180. But
better
still,
or
yeah,
okay,
yeah, definitely easier to breastfeed one than two. So yeah, just a different journey, and it was easier for sure because there's one, but still like the amount of hormones and trying to figure out my body, and now I have 2 kids that need me, plus I have a baby. So yeah, there is a lot of hormones for sure.
Yeah. So how were you able to balance that? I mean, I know you and your husband were taking shifts, but now you have 3 kids and 3 beautiful kids, and we were looking at the screen there.
Yes.
What was that village like of support for you guys?
Well, my parents live like 3 miles from us, and my husband's parents live 8 miles from us.
Oh, nice.
So we are blessed with the amount of people that we have that would come and help at a drop of a dime. I don't know that we've ever had to have a babysitter that we didn't know because our parents are very like, I'll take them,
Yes.
give me the babies. So we've had a huge support system, which has helped a ton. But really, and my husband works from home, which is, a game changer for my job is flexible, but if something needs to be done, he can stop, do it, and take care of that. So that's just helped a lot with our whole crazy, I always say it's chaos, with our chaos, with our perfect chaos. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's just, I don't know. We've just kind of rolled with the punches. Like as they come, you deal with it and we just keep moving.
That's good. I know. I don't have twins. I do have a child, but I can only imagine what the home life is like, and then raising boys that are very active and So I could.
They're very, very, very boy. Even the 1-year-old is learning very well from his older brothers, for sure. For sure.
Exciting though.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. So now that you're here now, they're a little bit older. What does that schedule look like for you as a mom? How do you balance or prioritize things now?
Yeah, I once I could start really working out and getting in a routine, I would do it in the evening. And then I really missed my boys when I'm at work. And then so when I would come home and I would have to spend time away again working out, it really tugged at me. So I kind of just decided, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning. My sister-in-law works in the schools and she came to me and she's like, what if we do it in the morning? Which I enjoy my sleep probably more than most people. So I was like, all right, well, give it a go. I was just finishing my breastfeeding journey, so I wasn't tied to like feedings or a pump or a 3-hour schedule. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So we started that. So at 5:00 in the morning, she comes over. During COVID, we threw a gym in our garage, so we have a lot of equipment in our garage. She comes over, we get our workout done, and we start our day. So after the workout, I go in, I start my coffee right away. If the kids are up, hopefully they're not.
Get a little pause.
I get them a little settled so I can jump in the shower and then it's go. Like my husband knows what he has to do in the morning. I know what I have to do in the morning, and he does a great job. Like he cooks breakfast. Awesome. So it's nice to like be able to walk out and be like, okay, now let me eat quick before, I drop the kids off and run to work and do all the things. Yeah.
I'm hearing that it was another person we interviewed, and she also talked about having to switch her schedule around and work out in the morning. And I feel like a lot of, even when you listen to celebrities, it's kind of like that 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. type of, I don't want to do 3.
3 way early for me.
But 5 a.m., it sounds like, that's the way to go.
The kids are still sleeping for the most part. I might have been interrupted a couple times, but my husband will get up with them, or he's already out in the office working, seeing what he can get done before the boys get up. And it's really just kind of a quiet time, especially right now. It's so dark in the morning that it's very like, I don't know, calming. And it's just a time that it's like, it's me. I don't have, yes, my sister-in-law's in there and we can kind of, gossip and talk, but it's just me, our time where I don't have, Mom, I need a drink. Mommy, I'm hungry. So I really just don't have to worry about, other than if they wake up, I don't have to worry about the kids.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like it is a me time. Is there anything else, like as far as your morning routine goes, like is there a part of like journaling or meditation that you do as well to kind of center yourself?
No, but I know everybody, and I've recently started talking to a nutritionist who was brought this up, and she's like, you need a time where it's not stressing your body working out, and you need to start like meditating or journaling or just sitting and enjoying like the quiet. I haven't quite got there yet to where I can just sit.
Yeah.
But I'll have to find that.
I know it's probably so many things pulling you. Then you got your job as well.
Yes.
So is that your typical like 9 to 5 type job?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty much 9 to 5 in the office, Monday through Friday. Very typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see that you are a part of a fitness brand, Zaya Activewear.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So talk about that. I know it's so many. I feel like every time I get on Instagram, there's always so
a new
many.
one.
So many fitness companies, clothing wear. What made you decide on that one?
Well, it is a multi-level marketing company. And the gal who signed me up, she is a stay-at-home mom, very active. I think her kids are just older than mine. And she was just very inspiring to be like, I did this all on my own, and I do this as my full-time job, and I stay home with my kids. And she works when she wants to work. And I was like, man, I started when I went back to work, and I'm like, I really miss my babies. So if I could do something to like stay at home with them and take over my income, and that's what it evolves to, like, that's great, because then I can have that time with my babies, which is not a traditional. Like, I was raised in a house where both parents work. They both work their 9 to 5. So it was just not that traditional upbringing that I had. So I'm like, well, we'll see, and we'll give it a go. So I started that in November last year. And it requires me to create a Facebook group, invite my family, friends, their friends, all the people. And then I didn't realize how much it was going to benefit my journey until I got into it. Probably the last 6 months I've really noticed, because I'm sharing my life, I'm sharing my journey, my workouts, and I'm sharing pictures of me in the apparel.
Yeah.
So I get super vulnerable for me, and I might be in like leggings and the sports bra, and I'm showing people this apparel, taking pictures, and it holds me accountable to the group. I don't know if they would even know if I didn't work out that day, but by chance they might. I'm like, oh, I gotta get up, work out, and show my gear so they can see it. And then in hopes that it's a lot of women, in hopes that like I'm inspiring them that, listen, I live this 8 to 5 crazy lifestyle with kids, and I'm still able to get up and prioritize that time. By no means did I ever think I was going to be in some sort of direct sales anything, because I am not a salesperson. It's not my cup of tea. But I don't know. Here I am, and
doing it.
Yeah, I'm just, if it works out that I stay home with my husband doing his thing, then it works out, and I get more times with my babies.
Yeah. Well, I hope that works out for you.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard leaving your children, in other people's hands. I know your husband's there, but I think it can be hard because some women do have to take them to daycare or something like that. So I know I'm sure it's a challenge. I've been there before too, with my baby, so I completely get it. But I love that you've entered this new community and you've started that. So how are the women? Are they sharing their stories with you, saying, hey, you inspired me to get up and go to the gym today? What is that like?
Yeah, so I've come across women from like every walk of life, all over the country. My direct upline is, she lives near Chicago. Yeah. She's originally from Michigan. It's just a like crazy connection of the people that you have from like all over the country. And then they're sharing their stuff and where they're at, their running challenges or what have you. And then I have people in my group that, like, I have a really good friend from college, and she's like, you really inspire me that you're still getting up every morning and you're doing this, months later. And she's like, I really want to get to that point. And she's a stay-at-home mom, 4 kids. So, she's like, I should be able to do this and find that time. So just that, like, I'm inspiring one person. I just think,
feels
yeah,
good,
yeah.
yeah. So how Are you guys able to meet up? Have you executed anything like that where you guys can meet up together?
We have things that are like little summits, and I didn't go into this year. My thought was I would really get my feet wet and see what happens, and then I'll start going to those. But I do have, like, on my team, I have a couple of my sister-in-laws, so we'll get together and go get coffee, and we always tell our husbands that we're going to go talk Zaya, so we're going to need about an hour. So we'll go get coffee, and then we kind of do some strategizing, like what works for you, what works for me, and we kind of just like work Zaya for an hour. And then we bring our husbands in after, and we might do like dinner with all of our kids and stuff. So yeah.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Have you considered, or have you done it where you've done a workout, like maybe go on live with the Facebook group and do a workout and have them, participate?
While they participate in my workout with me?
Well, they wouldn't. They'll watch you, but you'll just be the only one on camera. Have you ever done like a live like that?
No, I haven't. I haven't thought of that. Yeah. I know some gals do, or they'll like do little clips, like, fast forward clips of them working out. But my lives are more just like standing in front of the camera. Because I get quite out of breath, and I sweat a lot.
But that's the real thing,
though.
Like when you show them that you're tired. I hate watching. Well, I do watch YouTube videos of like people working out, but I want to see the realness, like you stopping to pause, because I'm over here deep breathing. Oh yeah, I want to see you deep breathe too.
There's lots of pauses in my workouts. Don't worry.
Yes, I think that'd be exciting. How do you compare both communities with Zaya and CrossFit? Have you seen any connection between the two?
There is a sense of community in both. You're both working for a common goal. And you're kind of getting ideas like, oh, this worked for me. Why don't you try this? Yeah. Or whatever might work for your niche. So there is that. I think there's still a sense of working out. I'm just not doing the same workout as everybody. I mean, everybody has their own thing that works for them as far as what kind of workout, like running. I'm not a runner. I really kind of dabbled in it a little bit and thought I was really going to get there. But I'm really I run on occasion.
I can believe you get it. Yeah. I'm a jogger.
That's right. When I want to.
Yeah. Okay. So your style has kind of changed throughout the years. And I mean, that's just lifestyle, right? So you have adapted to what your lifestyle is, and now the workouts are changing, but you're remaining active, which I think is important.
Yes. Pre-kids, pre-husband, the workouts and the goals were completely different than what they are now. And I think up until probably the last year, I've really thought I was going to get back to that pre-mom lifestyle. And it's just not realistic, not only for my schedule, but just for my body. Like, I'm not 25 anymore. Yeah. And the hormones are different. I've really realized that in order for me to get results, it's not about getting as much cardio and burning as much calories as I can. Yep. There's so much more involved. So I really had to kind of take a step back and be like, what works for me now, and kind of come to terms with that.
So what were your goals then, and what are they now?
Well, my goals then were very superficial. It's very like I'm gonna. Let's be real. That never really came to fruition. But it was, how low can I get the scale, and like how lean can I get, and like let me get some abs. Yeah. It's not realistic now. So now my goals have just been like, let's work out and do something that's not overly stressing my body. Let's make sure that we're eating appropriately, that's going to support what our goals are, and I'm not throwing away my workouts. I still enjoy and indulge when appropriate. I just don't overindulge all the time. The goals have kind of changed from doing these crazy CrossFit workouts to I get up and sweat and move my body in the morning, and I started speaking to a nutritionist who gives me something that's not a blanket. Like, here's your macros, go get them. We'll talk in a couple weeks. And she's more of an approach of, let's say, a holistic approach. Like, let's talk about your hormones. Let's talk about the inflammation that you might have in your body. Let's talk about what's in your like gut, that like why are you bloated sometimes, why, you know, how the foods are affecting you. And I've been talking to her for like 4 weeks, and I'm just like, man,
if I'd have known you then.
Yeah. So it's just a different approach. And for me, it's working right now. But I mean, I could go in 2 years and be like, it's not working. So now I need to come back to the table. And just, I think that's the most important part, is coming back and reviewing, like, what are my goals? What am I doing to get there? And is it working? Because what I'm doing now might not work in 2 years.
Yeah.
Depending on my lifestyle.
Is that I have a calendar or a planner, and it asks about like your yearly goals or whatever. So is that something that you're being intentional about, like to sit down with yourself and go over your goals maybe every year, every 6 months, to say like, where am I?
Should.
Okay.
I should. And I think now that I'm starting to really understand my body and what my priorities are, that's probably something I'll get more into, of like, what are my goals right now? Whatever, like 5 years, etc. But I've really took a step back and stopped looking at the physical approach and like our physical appearance, and more on like, how am I feeling mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like there's some confidence in that. So yeah, I think there's going to be a time where I'm going to actually review those goals and start really reviewing them every 3, 6, 9 months.
I like it. So you talked about working with a nutritionist, and I hear so many people, I think anybody who's on this health journey is like, I haven't made it to that step yet. I need to get to that step to talk to someone. But is that a point where you have to be with that person for the rest of your life? Is it just something you do for 3 or 6 months? How does that relationship work?
Yeah, I think it's whatever I choose. And really how I found it is on a Facebook ad, and they're like, well, get your health insurance to cover it. And I'm like, yeah, right. So, but let me see if it does. And sure enough, it did. And I was like, well, perfect. My health insurance is going to cover it. Why am I not taking advantage of this knowledge? And at any time I can say like, I think I'm good. Like, I think I have all I need. I have all the information I need. Or I can say, let's meet in like 3 months and see where we're at. And maybe I extend that, like, instead of meeting every 2 to 3 weeks, okay, now we're meeting every month, every 2 months, once I can like sustain achieving my goals on my own.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so curious about that. And I don't think a lot of people know out there that you can use your insurance. I even heard you can use insurance for like gym, or like some type of memberships and things like that.
Some, and I've heard that as well, that some do, or some companies have incentives for that. My company doesn't have an incentive for nutrition necessarily. Not to the extent I'm getting. Again, it's just a very blanket approach. But my health insurance covers it. So I was just like, well,
use it. Like, you're paying for it, so use
exactly.
it.
I'm working for health insurance, so I might as well take advantage of it.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy that you are, and I'm happy that it's working for you. So it sounds exciting.
Yeah,
so
very exciting.
My last question.
Okay.
And I was just like, let me, I was thinking about it. I was looking at your story, and I was just like, I wonder what she'll say to this. So there's a mom out there who's probably looking in the mirror, and she's feeling uncomfortable with herself, with her body. What would you say to her right now?
Oh, I would just say you have to start somewhere. And once I committed to, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I want, I was able to build on it. So I really took the time of, there are times where my kids are a lot and overwhelming, and they can be overstimulated. Yeah. So I took that time in the morning to where I was like, I carved out time in my day. If I had to wake up before my kids, and I just dedicated it to, this is what I'm going to do for working out. If for whatever reason my partner doesn't show up, I might just sit and enjoy my coffee hot and on my own. But I would just tell him, like, I really had to get over of what I looked like in the mirror, and just know that if I start this journey, it's I'm going to get results. I'm not going to get them tomorrow. And I've really accepted that this is a slow process, but it's slow so it can be sustainable, which is that was a big change for me. Because when I was in my 20s, I'd be like, okay, I want to lose a couple pounds this week. No big deal. And that's not realistic anymore. So I would just tell that mom that you can do it. But stop with the outside voice of your own voice that's telling you can't. And the outside voice of, I guess, like the social medias that are like, this is what's the expectation, because it's just not realistic. And if it's not realistic for you, it's not realistic for the girl next to you, and she's not doing it. So I've really just accepted that, you know what, I'm happy. I get to see my kids in the evenings. I am just very blessed with the life I have with my babies. So I've really looked at that approach rather than like being so hard on myself. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Get off social media. It's not real. And I can tell you, as someone who does a lot of Photoshop, you can alter and manipulate all type of photos, and that's exactly what most of them do. So
I know.
Get off of it. Love your body. That's what I heard. Just love yourself, love your body, and just, I think also community too, though. I think a lot of in your story is just finding the right people around you who keep you encouraged.
Exactly. We have Thursday nights. We have friends that come over on Thursday nights, and we work out, order dinner, and we just socialize. We might have some drinks, and it's just like every Thursday night, that's our like time to hang out. And it's so supportive. There's like, we talk about our days. We kind of like joke back and forth about certain things. We might give each other hard times, but it's really about finding like your true, genuine people.
Find your
that
people.
Makes sense. It is.
Well, thank you so much,
Yes,
Katy. This has been
you.
very awesome. I love this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was very fun.
Thank you.